nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. Ooh, baby, it's going to be a long week. It's going to be a long week. How about them, Lady Irish? Good job. Good job there. Yeah, I'm not the biggest basketball person, either men's or the women's side, whatever. It's just not my gig, but good job by them. Let's do that early and often. Callers, feel free. 312-988-15. Dialed up. Tell Uncle Johnny all you've heard and seen. Here's the deal, you guys. This is hilarious. BVG should the new name of your show should be Always Late, because he knows exactly what he's doing, because I pride myself on being on exactly when I say I'm going live. I hit it. If I'm 3 seconds late, if it's 9 minutes and 38 seconds, I'm late. Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. I love everything going on now in this whole ecosystem with college football and everything. I love how it's all new territory. All the debates are new. All the arguments are new. All of the outcomes are new. All of the potential problems that could come with the unintended consequences maybe we don't love about this process are coming. It's all new, and all the debates are new, and all of the arguments are new, and all of the what if this and what if that are new. And I like it. It's injecting new life into a sport we already loved. So it's like I feel like you have the tradition of the postseason, college football, whatever. It's just kind of like on steroids now. And so I like the new debate and the new argumentation that's coming out with this new format. Always good to have a Rudiger in the chat. And an Adam Dowling as well. I was talking to him last night. We're putting together some tailgate plans. Everybody been asking, where are the Always Irish people going to meet at this football game? I talked to Adam last night. I've been talking to Pat Cotter. We're going to do something and have something figured out where the Always Irish people can meet up. Bruce, the Format Podcast, sent me a voice message last night. Really good stuff, debating this playoff format. What might change in it? What might change in it in the future? It's all uncharted territory, and I love it. It's interesting. I like that there's new debates. You know what one of them is? One of the new debates is, what counts as a successful year for Notre Dame? Like, when you really think about this, that is kind of where this has opened up a debate within the Notre Dame people. We're sitting here going, okay, what counts as a successful year now? Like, is it just winning a playoff game, which is round one? Is it round two? Do you got to go all the way? Like, things have changed. And what's really interesting to me is if there's people who are in a position to say, here's the one I struggle with. Now you have these debates because there's round 1, 2, 3, 4. What counts as success for Notre Dame? How far do they got to get? Whatever. The one I think is interesting is saying that it depends who you beat in round one to determine that that's a success or not. That, I think, is a really, really interesting angle, because to me, I think more about the moment and the game we're in overall in the ecosystem, less than I think about the opponent. But I think of like big postseason win in front of all of America, the only game in town, advance to the playoff, whatever. Like, that's what but it's like I don't know, the needle moves for some people. And it's like, well, Indiana's not going to be impressive enough. But if it's Georgia in the next round, then it is. I don't know. So I enjoyed these debates. I really enjoyed these debates. A lot of people are saying it's the second round because that's when the bowl thing kicks in. Here's my argument back to that. And I don't want to make this all about this debate. Here's my argument against that. It's just, it can't be What does this game count as then? Everybody's saying it's the end all be all. You got it. You absolutely got to have it, but they don't want to give credit for it if they win it. Right? Like everybody's saying it's the biggest game ever and you got to win it. And everybody's looking at you and it'll be embarrassing to lose to Indiana. It's the biggest thing. All this stuff and you got to get to Georgia, beat the blah, 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 blah. You got to do all this. Okay, fine. But then people are saying, but it isn't that big of a deal if you win it. It doesn't count as breaking that 30-game postseason game winning streak or whatever. That's the problem I have. Everybody's saying we need it, but then they don't want to give us credit if you get it. That's the problem with that argument is everybody's saying we need it, but not everybody wants to give us high-end credit if you get it. And I'm talking about our own fans. I'm not overthinking it. The people that are saying it's not technically called a big bowl game, so it doesn't count as a big one are overthinking it. Those are the people overthinking it. The people that are literally looking at the name of the game and saying it isn't enough by definition. The realities have changed here. This is all new. If winning, I can't imagine any existence in any sport where winning a playoff game isn't a big deal. The biggest of deals. Most important game since. Here's the other thing, man. We got callers. I'm going to give it to the callers and we'll get this going. It's a technicality. Yeah, that I agree with that, Tex ND. Nobody's saying it isn't a big game. I'm saying it doesn't earn you the respect you think it should. Those are different. Those are totally different debates. Those are totally different things to me. Like those things are barely tangentially even connected in some ways. Nobody's saying it isn't a big game. I mean big enough that you're saying Notre Dame's streak of not winning any major postseason games is over. When I say big, big is vague. So let me be specific. If I say big, I mean big enough that you go, okay, Notre Dame passed that non-winning a big game in the postseason kind of thing. That's what I mean by big. Worry about winning and stop worrying about the respect part. I'm not worried about that. I want Notre Dame fans to... I just feel like the bar keeps moving and it's bothering me a little bit. That's all I'm saying. I just feel like the bar keeps moving. Every time you achieve something, then the bar just keeps on moving. And it's just, that's bothering me a little bit. So I don't know. And the other thing, I don't know. This is going, I like the debates. This is all very, very healthy. I will say this. I'm not that worried about that. You're not, it doesn't matter now, Pat. I'm not that worried about that. You did all the politicking and all that BS to get into this position and get seated. Now, none of it matters what anybody thinks of anything because there's no human influence that changes anything now. That's all over. That's all over. Yeah, but the 30-year no big bowl thing has nothing to do with me wanting credit from people on Twitter. These are all we're conflating and weaving in a whole bunch of different things. We're weaving in a whole bunch of different things into this debate is what I feel like. And I don't feel like we're going to agree on the definition of it, is what I'm saying. Is I don't think we're going to agree on the definitions of it, but it's really, really interesting. And here's what I'm going to say, man. Like, when you say every game is a big game for Notre Dame, I obviously agree with you. But it also feels like some are bigger than others, right? I don't like Signetti's face. I don't like that Signetti guy. I don't like that Signetti guy. Dr. John's in the house. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Oh, let's see. Here we go. We're going to go to the callers in a second. Do some super chats here. Hey, John, I got into it with some dipstick in the comments of your Signetti rant video. I had to set him straight. Listen, man, I don't know. I said in the video that if I'm an Indiana person, he's doing exactly what I would want him to do, and I don't hold it against him. It's just I'm on the other side, so I don't have to like it. He's a little too cocky and arrogant in a intentional way. Like some people come off like that because it's just how they are, like their aura. He's doing it in a really intentional manner that rubs me the wrong way. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? it comes off real intentional that he's trying to be like a tough guy. Like, we're not scared of anybody. There's something about the guy that just bugs me. But if I'm Indiana, I love this. Talk your stuff, whatever. Like, nobody's giving you a chance. Big bad. Like, Notre Dame thinks they're better. You do the whole thing. Do the whole thing. I'm glad the game wasn't today. Friday the 13th. Yikes. Yeah. There's an article for Johnny Boy for Sports Illustrated. That's for sure. The 80s guy. To get this far and stumble would be disastrous. It's like, where does that scale tip? See, that's where my mind goes. Okay, to get this far, so you make it to round one, you gotta pay this off. I already went over my rant of you can't begin and end the year hosting games at your place and giving up the two of the biggest wins in those programs' history in the same year on your ground. You cannot do that and call it a good year. Don't talk to me about 10 wins in a row. Don't talk to me about any of that. If you lose this ball game, it's a failure, period. I can't handle it. I'm not interested in hearing about the regular season record anymore. You cannot allow that kind of history to happen on your field to start and end the year and feel good about the year. You can't do it. So I'm not listening to it. So it's a big moment in that regard. It's a big moment in that regard. You got to win this game. There's always an extra layer with Notre Dame. Nothing's ever just surface layer. There's always extra. This is the extra. This is the extra. See, I get this, but it also leaves no room for discussion. That's the problem with this. All games are must-win games, Johnny. Even with the expanded college football playoff field, there is no shorter regular season in any major sport than college football. Or even with the just expansion of the length of the season overall, when you combine the regular season and now the expanded playoff. There's no shorter season in major sports than college football. By default, that means each game has an outsized importance. It matters more. But the problem with that is when you say all games are must win and then they're all like equal, then there's no room to discuss anything about what a big moment A&M was. How, like, I don't know. It totally makes sense because anytime Notre Dame loses a game, it's the end of the world. But we also have to be able to like decipher certain games that move the needle and other ones that don't, I guess. And some people are going to say this game doesn't move the needle because it's Indiana. If you win the first playoff game in modern college football era for Notre Dame, I can't understand how that doesn't move the needle for people in some way. I don't even know why we're doing this then. If winning the first game of this kind in modern Notre Dame football doesn't move the needle at all, why? Come on. I don't understand that. It all be all. It's not going to, it doesn't put a new trophy in the goog. I understand that. There are levels to this. My Santa Claus suit is set to arrive today. I hope it's warm, Nick. I hope it's warm. And I like how he said Santa Claus because that's how I say it too. Santa, that's Santa. Every game is a must-win at this time of the year. Well, it's true. Every game's a must-win game. Every single game, your whole life. Look at this. I asked how important is this game for Freeman in the program. Mark says it's important internally, but doesn't move the needle nationally. I get what you mean by that. Like, for the reasons that I said, you got to win this game at home and all that. But you're saying nationally, like, you beat Indiana, people aren't going to like flip out over it. It'll be a lot more interesting to see what happens if you're able to win the next round to beat a Georgia team. But you got to get there first. That's where the narrative gets interesting. Would it become, oh, you only did that because quarterback's hurt? Or would it be like, oh, crap, Notre Dame's playing with a top-end SEC roster? Whoa, this is different. Nikki Dean loves to be heard and seen. John has said he doesn't care what people think anymore. Just wants Notre Dame to keep winning. On a practical basis, it really doesn't matter what anybody thinks anymore. The only time it matters what people think when you're trying to impress people to get seated in a committee or whatever to get a better draw. Now that these brackets are set, everybody is 0-0 and none of their stats really matter because there's nothing anybody could do to change anything now. Nothing you did before, good or bad, matters anymore. Everybody's starting with a blank slate, clean canvas. And now you are what you do moving forward. That's how I'm really thinking about this. Now that you're seated and that's over, the impressing stage is over. Everybody's 0-0. Nobody has any stats. Who's going to make some moves? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Callers, I'm coming to you. Mark, $2 holler. I wish God would put Hidalgo's heart in our players. If you had a tenth of the heart of Rudiger's, you would have been really something, Mark. Just a tenth of the heart of Rudiger's. Mikey Poles. John, for Marcus in this program, it's not going to be enough to just win this game. We need to beat Georgia too. Indiana doesn't move the needle. Need to beat a big-time team. See, Mikey, there's like a couple different ways to think of that. One is I totally understand why you're saying people see it that way. The other side of this argument would be winning a playoff is a huge, like that is a huge deal. And the first one is an outsized importance deal. And that's like, it's about winning a playoff game on that stage. And it isn't about who you play. It's about getting in the position to do this and then winning this game in this framework, regardless of the team you insert in there. It's the situation, not the opponent, right? That would be the counter argument, I think, to what you're saying. And then he says, however, if we win round one, the season's about what I expected. A loss is a failure, though. Listen, man. I feel like a jerk saying it. You're not going to be able to sell anybody. This year was a success. If you allow those 2 wins to bookmark the year, you just can't sell it to anybody. And everybody knows that. I think you're not going to be able to sell that as success. You're not. You cannot allow 2 of those embarrassments, one at the beginning and one at the end. It will be another national embarrassment. You can't do it. Also, the insult, here's the other part of this. If you found a way to mess around and lose to Indiana, it would literally feel to me like you are handing over the crown of college, being the best at college football in that state, handing it over to Bloomington and to Indiana. It would literally feel like a slap in the face to Frank Leahy's carcass under the ground that you got trounced on like that on your own field in front of your own people, and you have to hand the crown of being the whole thing in college football in the state of Indiana is Notre Dame. People think about you would, after all, 100 whatever years, it's all about Notre Dame football history and all that. Indiana has none of it. All theirs is in a gym with the guy who yells a lot. That's their history. And it's all Notre Dame football. But you would literally be handing the crown over publicly in your place to Indiana saying, we don't want this anymore here. You guys, I can't handle the thought. I'm twitching just thinking about it. I can't handle the thought. Tell me I'm wrong. If you lose this game, that's basically what you're doing in the most public way of all time, handing that crown over to a place that didn't even take football seriously till 1 minute ago. It can't be. It can't be. You can't allow it. In that way, there's a unique and a different kind of pressure in this circumstance than if Notre Dame was matched up with any other team in the field in the country almost. I'm telling you, that's what's on the line, is handing that crown of the state of Indiana over to Indiana. Are you out of your mind? How insulting. It would just feel like, why bother as a Notre Dame fan? Why do we even exist? What is this all for? When nobody cares about Indiana for football forever, and then they steal the crown from you at your place, when all you allegedly care about is that? No. No. So, whatever, man. The 80s guy, $5 holler. It's funny them comparing Signet to a cigar, because come next Friday, Notre Dame going to smoke him. Smoke him if you got him. I'm talking about the classy stuff. A black cherry Swisher Sweet, or perhaps a plastic tip. Could I interest you in a plastic tip, black and mild? I'm bringing those to the tailgate. This warrants a plastic tip, black and mild, damn it, with that pipe tobacco. Oh, man. Look at this. John got a Ronald McDonald haircut. The funny part is, man, the way my hair is these days, if I really, really grew it out, you better bet it would turn into a Ronald McDonald, bro. I could hold stuff I feel like one of them ladies in one of them countries that walks with the fruit on their head. I feel like I could put a bunch of fruit on the middle of my head where I'm balding and it would just be bushy on the sides and support it. And it almost looks like Ronald McDonald. Unbelievable. I could put some plain cheeseburgers up there and walk around a field or something. Happy birthday, Taylor Swift. I honestly, I probably would recognize like one Taylor Swift song that I just heard on just from social, like society, but nothing more than like that one, like one or two songs maybe I would recognize. But the bigger point of all this is people saying back in 2014, I believe, Taylor Swift was at Notre, somebody in her family, somebody turned Selena Gomez, somebody like that. I don't know who that is either. Somebody. They have a brother at Notre Dame and they were on the sidelines, but it was before Taylor Swift is what she is now. It was before that, but she was on the sideline. And so there's a connection there. And the reason this came up is with game day coming to Notre Dame. Now people are saying, if you really want to make this big, you fly Taylor Swift in there as the game day picker, put her on that set. She may be one of the only people in America that's too big for the game day, like prime crew. I don't know. Like literally, I understand the idea of blowing that up and making it bigger. She may be the only person that's like, yeah, I don't need that to raise my profile. Like she might be the only one. She might be saying, I just did that tour and I don't feel like doing anything. I don't know. But that's where I think that has come out. Steven, John Kennedy, come have a smoke with your boy Rick James. I got the stickiest of the icky. Why don't I stretch out? Nice place. Why don't I stretch out? Oh, man. Phil. Hell of a win for the ladies last night. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Look at this. It said, did Indiana's kicker just win an award? You better not go into overtime. Listen, that's the other thing you got. That's the other thing. Pat, I'm trying to not say any of the ones that are going to get me canceled. I'm just trying to not do any of the ones that'll get me canceled. But once it's in your head, it's hard to get it out of your head. And if you know, you know. And if you don't, this all makes no sense. The milk's gone bad. Hold my drink. Anyways, so I don't know, you guys. This is really interesting. We're in uncharted territory. I love it. Everything about this is new and it's juicy, and the media thing is great, and just the run we're gonna get off this is great. The extra excitement's great, and if Notre Dame keeps winning, it's just gonna get better and better and better, you guys. It's just gonna get better. All right, let's see. I had a couple more things here. I don't think I'm going to do them. I want to give you guys some time. Let me check the calls. Yeah, okay. This is a good little first bank, and we'll see. I may have to get going a little early. Got some childcare situations going on here. I might have to. I can't leave my kid upstairs alone to just hang out. That's a problem, I've been told, at her age. So that's an issue I might have to deal with. Look at this. John K., $100 holler. I really appreciate that. I really do. That's genuinely fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Somebody saying it's money laundering, me to myself. That's a great idea for a super chat. That's brilliant. But why would you name it John K? I would name it anything other than John K, right? Like, why would I do that? That's hilarious. But John K, whoever you are, it's not me. Why would, if I was going to do that to like make it's a good idea to make people think that like $100 super chats are the norm and like just put a bunch of those out there so people see it and they're like, oh, well, that's just kind of how much people give here. Like if I was doing that, I wouldn't name it John K. I wouldn't name it after myself. Come on. I do have an uncle named John K, but I don't know if that's him or not. And I don't think it is, but I have an uncle named John Kennedy, but I don't know if that's who it is. I don't think it's the politician down in Louisiana. I don't think he's too busy for me. Uncle John, he's too busy. So I don't know what I'm doing. John K, make it rain. Yeah. Yeah, tell you. Does it no, they don't take half. They don't take half, but you do have to pay a percentage to operate on YouTube for free. So whatever you make, they do get a cut of. That is your price for operating on YouTube free of charge. That's just the way it goes. Ryan Roberts is here. Very, very. I see the chats now. Very sorry for your loss. I believe Ryan lost his mother to a long cancer battle, and so Ryan, just thoughts are with you, and that's just a really, really tough thing and a tough time of year for that thing. I do understand, Ryan. I think you're going to the ball game, and maybe in a weird way, that'll be the best thing you could do is get out and go to that football game and know that she would have wanted you to be at that football game and do all that. And maybe it'll mean something really special and different for you to be there and to have, I don't know, all of the Notre Dameness, right? Like maybe that'll be a unique, maybe you could find a unique kind of piece through that moment or on that campus because it's special and it's different. And I kind of hope that's what happens for you because I knew you were going anyway. So like with the timing of everything, maybe that's for a reason. And you can have some unique piece there. I don't know. That's a thought. But our thoughts are with you, man. That's really tough stuff. Tough to follow that up. So let's go to the phone calls. 567. What's going on? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, John?
What's going on? Thanks for holding. I'm bad with that kind of thing. Okay, let me address one thing in the chat. John is not having an official tailgate, but there is the possibility that we will meet where I've had tailgates before with some people who are going to be in that area that you guys know. That could be a possibility. I am not putting on an official tailgate. Not enough time, not enough people, not enough parking pass, all this kind of stuff. But there is a possibility we all gather in that same area where we do in the North lot for my tailgates and have some fun there so we can all meet. So more details on that. Sorry, caller, your time. Go ahead.
Oh, you're all right, buddy. So I'm just calling to talk about Indiana a little bit.
Wonderful.
So just kind of want to get your thoughts on this. So I haven't really watched Indiana too much. I paid attention to them throughout the season, but from what I can gather, I watched a lot of the Ohio State game, and I'm kind of gauging them off that, if you will. So it seems like Indiana's a routine team. Okay, they shower every day at 8 a.m. They brush their teeth every day at 8:15, and if you let them stay on routine, that's what they want, right? Yeah. So at Ohio State, it was a 7-7 ball game with 2 minutes left to go in the half, and then that's when their punter muffed the ball, and that's when they got off they were on the routine until that happened.
Yep.
So I feel if we don't throw them off the routine, it's going to be a dogfight. I think we have to cause havoc, particularly on the D-line. I think our blitzes need to hit more times than not.
I like the way you're thinking about this.
Needs to get going, especially early when we first start off.
I like the way you're.
I think that's the key to the game.
Yeah, I like the way you're thinking about this. And if you zoom out a little more, I wrote something about this late last night. If you zoom a little further out too, these teams are number 2 and 3 in the country in turnover margin. Number 2 and 3, and they are the highest ranked 2 teams in that category in the playoff field. And Notre Dame is a +16 playoff margin. Indiana's a +15. And I just think that's interesting. And I know everybody has questions about both of these schedules and all of these statistics and the blowouts and all this stuff that both these teams have. Everybody questions those schedules, but it shows you they're not going to usually beat themselves, right? They're gonna play pretty, keep the ball, take it away from you, not make these huge crucial mistakes. And they made some of them in that ball game they lost that you mentioned. How can you force them into some more?
I think that's the key to the game. If we can cause some havoc, and I think Ohio State had a punt return. They had the play where the punter muffed the ball. I think if we can cause some turnovers like that, some issues like that, some blitzes hit home, some sacks, especially early on, and then we can jump on them, get a running game going. I truly think it's as simple as that. That's the key to the game. If they stay on routine, I think it's going to be a dogfight because they're not a bad team. and I think they can play with us. I don't think they have the athletes we have. I think we definitely recruit better than they do.
Okay, but so let me ask this. How far does like confidence and kind of like a season full of momentum carry you, right? Like Indiana was picked to be like almost dead last in the expanded Big Ten or whatever this year. And then they come out and surprise everybody and they have a pretty good year. They're kind of flying high. Their coach talks with a lot of confidence. Like, how much do you value that? Like, or do you think once that ball gets kicked off, none of that matters? But like, I kind of find a value in how confident both of these teams carry themselves. I like it. I like that they both have that.
Yeah. I mean, they're both in the college football playoffs, so there's going to be some confidence from both teams. So I mean, you're gonna have that. And I kind of wanted to ask you something. I seen you posted something on Twitter last night about the Tennessee-Ohio State game and Tennessee getting some time on the Megatron. Is that happening in every college football first-round game?
It's so interesting. I am digging to get more information on that because I thought it was super interesting, the concept that you're hosting, but it's still like a playoff game and you have to give equal time to both sides with that kind of thing. I'm not comfortable enough to do a show or write about it or talk about it yet. I'm asking the people I need to ask at Notre Dame that know the people that do the Jumbotron stuff. What's the deal here? I think that is really interesting that you have to kind of be fair on both sides, even though it's in your building, with the time and the intro and the Jumbotron and the music and the entertainment. How far does that go? I'm investigating.
I would imagine if Ohio State's not doing that because they want to, they're doing it because they have to.
It's so interesting.
If they have to do it, I would imagine everybody has to do it.
That is so interesting. It'll blow your mind to picture at Notre Dame Stadium and on the Jumbotron is a big build-up entrance video for Indiana. But that might be what you're getting. And everybody and people that don't realize what we're talking about are going to be mad at Notre Dame for allowing it, not realizing it may be forced by the powers to be of the CFP. It's really interesting.
Yeah, if they do it, it's going to be because they forced their hand to do it. But I mean, it is what it is. It's different.
I want to know, are they going to have that dude?
Are they going to intrigued by that? I'm wondering.
Are they going to have that dude with his shirt off, waving it around like a helicopter again on the Jumbotron, or do we have to cut that in half and give their guy without a shirt a helicopter sometime? Like, is the girl that's going to yell at everybody in the TV timeouts? Is she still going to do it, or does she have to give up half of her yelling at me time for the other team? Anyways, enough of the complaints. Maybe if somebody else is in charge of the music, they won't play techno polka every third down. Anyways,
sorry, John, and I am so happy that Aaron Taylor called out the fan base because that's really never happened. And I think that the players and I know Coach Freeman won't do it, but past coaches, past players, they need to come out and they need to call our fans out because no disrespect to anybody in the chat, but our fans suck. They suck.
I do think it's getting better.
When it comes to causing a ruckus,
I think it's getting a little better. I have traditionally been really hard on our own fan base, and I feel like I have enough games under my belt in my life to be a good judge of that. I do feel like it's getting better. I do feel like since Freeman's been around, there's a newer energy. I feel it getting better, but it's still nowhere near, and it's never going to be anything near some of those like SEC environments. It's just never going to be. It's just Notre Dame's not set up for it. The fan base is different. Just the socioeconomics with the fan base, the geography with where the fan base is, like all of these things make it so you're just never going to have it the way I want it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I chalked it up to as it's Notre Dame's kind of in a special spot where their fans are national and it's hard to create a good. But man, for a game like this, like. Yep. We have to take advantage of the home field advantage. We have to.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah.
I really hope we don't see much red in that stadium, John.
I don't know how much red you're going to see. I'm still debating that. But the one thing is, I think you really got to be there for the football for this one. This is not a sightseeing tour. This is not a comfortable September evening where it's 72 degrees with a light breeze. I think you really got to be in there for the football for this one. And I don't think you're going to have a lot of casuals or people just there for the environment the way you do for all these other games. This ain't no sightseeing tour. This isn't gonna be for the faint of heart. And you gotta really want to be there for the football. That is what I think is gonna be. I think you gotta want to be there for the right reasons on this one.
I pray you're right, brother.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
I wanted to comment on your question of what you mentioned when you started. What was the question when you started the show with?
I think I said, how big of a game is this for Freeman in the program?
Yeah. That's what I wanted to get to. Thanks, buddy. Let me ask you, what's the biggest game that we've won in the Freeman era?
I mean, is it,
in your opinion?
Do you make it? Is it Texas A&M just because of what that meant on the big stage?
I would think so, just because the Clemson win, you didn't have anything on the line, right? Like,
that's the problem.
You had more on the line.
That's the problem I have with it is, see, that's the issue, you guys. You're saying Clemson, but I would argue that if you have nothing on the line to gain from it, how big of a win is it? Like, it is easy to play free when you're playing for nothing. That is, I'm gonna push back on that Clemson answer and say it's easy to get wins when you have nothing to lose. Your season was over.
Totally agree.
You were playing for nothing. How much credit do you get for winning a big game when it gets you nothing? That's the pushback. I'm pushing back on this angle because it's really easy to play free and everything when your season's over and you have nothing to lose and there's nothing on the line to lose on your end. I don't like the way that feels or that hits. Anyways, so that's the problem.
So I would agree with you. I think the biggest win is Texas A&M, and even USC last year. It reminded me of exactly what Clemson was. Nothing was on the line. Season was already over. I mean, I'm glad we won those games, but I would say Texas A&M. So to answer your question, this game would be the biggest win in the Freeman era. Oh yeah. I don't care what the national media would think,
and I don't care that it's Indiana.
This is a top 10 team.
I don't care that it's in. Some people are going to go, "Oh, it's only Indiana, so it isn't that or whatever." No, but it's what the environment is. It's this playoff moment. You're the only game in town. They picked your game to open this whole new thing. They picked you, Notre Dame. Like, win this game. This is a big moment.
100% agree. I think if you win this game, this is the biggest win in the Freeman era to date. And John, I don't want to take up too much of your time, so this is the last call that I'm going to be able to make to you, probably, unless I get some time next week before the game. So what I'm about to say, I know it's not going to get to anybody, but this goes to the Notre Dame football team. Okay, so to get something you never had, you must do something you never did. Imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around you are the ghosts of your unfulfilled potential, the ghosts of the ideas you never acted on. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, "We came to you because you could have brought us to life. And now we have to go to the grave together." So I ask you, Notre Dame, how many ghosts are you going to see around your bed when your time comes?
Ooh, man, this is deep. We just got deep on a Friday here. I like that. My friend. That's really good. Thank you.
Go Irish, John. I love your show. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. I
really appreciate that. Thank you. We got a philosophizer out here. We got a regular philosophizer. Look at this guy. Unbelievable. Man, that's funny. What am I missing in the chat? People are saying there's funny stuff going on. What am I missing? I don't know. Reinsdorf's burner. John will have a stroke in the stands, so Indiana will have to send someone to also have a stroke in the stands. I think I'm gonna try and survive. We'll see. Ronald McDonald. I've never seen so many fans dump their tickets for profits. It's unreal. I'm just picturing, dude. Ronald is telling you, if you're on hold, you're gonna be on the air, dude. You guys, Ronald, you're so in my head, man. My kid wanted a Happy Meal or something, a couple chicken nuggets, and we're running around the other day, and I'm sitting in the drive-thru, and I look up, and those drive-thrus, they still have a Ronald McDonald statue, like by every drive-thru, and he's sitting there with it, and I just look out, and I just start laughing. Because I see Ronald McDonald. I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking of you from this show. And then my kid's like, "Daddy, why are you laughing at that clown?" I'm like, "It's a long story." She's like, why do you think that clown's that funny, Daddy? I'm like, it's a long story, man. I have a personal relationship with this clown troll, okay? But I'm sitting there waiting for my turn. I look, and there's Ronald McDonald. And through my mind, it's like a chat log of all the dumb things Ronald has said in here. It's hilarious. I just started laughing. I'm like, man, this show is too much in my head. It's hilarious. High of 35, low of 22, snow, ice possible. Awesome. That'll be good for the drive out of there. 937, what's going on?
John, can you hear me okay?
I can. Thanks for the call.
Yeah. Hey, a little bit of, I don't know if it's a beef or whatever, but who really cares about the opponent? Like all week it's been like, oh, I wish we would have got a Southern team or blah, blah, blah. Look, rewind back to the NYU game and people were calling for Freeman's head. Myself kind of included, like, can this guy get this done? Can this team get this done? What this is, that still remains to be seen, right? Whether we make it to the national title game, whatever. However, you get to bring a pretender. Indiana's a pretender. Are they a good team? Maybe. They beat what? 2 teams that have a winning record all year? Okay. They played a soft Ohio State team. Good for a half.
Now, what about Notre Dame's schedule, though? I want to try and be fair here. Like that's the problem. Is people are going to question our schedule as well. Who did you play that's that good?
That's what Notre Dame fans do to themselves all the time.
Yeah,
myself included.
Yeah, so is that a self-preservation?
Every team is good. Army's really good. They're going to upset Notre Dame. They're 9-0. They've got the number 1 rush offense in the country. Navy's really good. Then Notre Dame stomps a freaking mud hole in them. Now they suck. Even though Notre, they go on to win their conference or whatever, and nobody beats them the same way that Notre Dame did.
Mm-hmm.
But yet now they suck because Notre Dame stomped a mud hole in them and exposed. And it's not that Notre Dame's any good; it's that they just suck.
But do you think that narrative's coming from other people that want to discredit Notre Dame, or from within the Notre Dame fan base doubting its own team? Because those are different, right? Like, I'm used to people picking Navy and Army to beat Notre Dame or whatever. And then when we did, then they said, oh, well, it isn't because Notre Dame's good. It's because they suck, right? Like, people flip. But you're seeing that from the Notre Dame people too.
And I think what we are getting wrapped up in, myself included, is that we've had this 35, 40-year drought of these monumental wins, right? And we are trying to prove ourselves to the national media rather than just saying to ourselves, I don't give a shit. Let's pound a mud hole in Indiana and their cocky coach, which he's got a right to be cocky. He's done things that Indiana's never seen before to a joke of a schedule. He's done everything that you should do for a team like that as a coach. Brings some bravado, brings a sense of, hey, we're the real deal. Well, when you come up and you're not playing a finesse team like Ohio, Ohio State, if their finesse players don't get going early and quick, they have to figure out a way to pretend they're tough. But when you come and play a tough football team that is going to, okay, they stopped us on first down running the ball. No problem. We're going to run it and hit you in the mouth again and again. And then one of our 2 ridiculous backs is going to bust one for 60. There's not a lot of teams that can weather that. You know, the finesse teams have to get going and going quickly, whereas Notre Dame is just going to pound the ball down the field. Maybe they catch a big play. Maybe they don't, but they can still rattle off 15, 20 yards at a clip. I mean, dude, outside of a dumb throw by Riley, we were getting ready to pound USC, dude.
Yeah.
And whatever. We need now, mind you, I think we needed that game because we've been obliterating everybody. The games haven't even been close, dude. They haven't even been close. We haven't seen anything like that in a long time at Notre Dame where you're just like, holy shit, we're beating these teams into submission.
Yeah.
We needed a game. I think we were a tired team against USC. You know, you could say, oh,
I think
whatever.
that's true.
But travel adds up eventually. Dude, have you seen Christian Gray play that bad all season long? No, it's an aberration. But what happens at the end of the game? Crunch time, huge play.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think everybody, myself included, I think we're underselling this team a little bit, but we need to just pound Indiana. Who gives a shit if it's a Southern team or what the media says or whatever? Win and advance. Win and advance. That's it.
Yeah, it's
It doesn't matter if it's now I get it. You got a show, right? You got to have some talking points, right? It doesn't matter if it's a significant bowl win or not. You win and advance.
Yeah, I think
and
you
then
can
shit sorts itself out.
I think you can make an argument. It may be a good thing that Notre Dame played some skill talent like USC has to end the year to kind of remember after that 10-game stretch against 9 games, I guess, against not great skill talent. Like it may be one of the healthiest things that could happen for them to realize, look at all, this is what Twitch skill talent looks like again. And it's been a while since you've seen it. So I do think that's something real to consider. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for the call.
Nope, that's it, brother. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, it's interesting, though. Like, if you want to argue about 419-260-914 coming up, if you want to argue about, listen, I don't think anybody's going to agree on these schedules and all that. And it is just a little weird. Like, I've been writing all year about Notre Dame's winning margin being so impressive in all these different ways. But I got to admit, you're not playing a lot of really good teams here. With Indiana, here's a question I have. Is Notre Dame going to get more defensive pressure up front? I wasn't very impressed with the amount of pressure you were getting against USC. It felt like that guy had way too much time, and all of our guys were stuck to the offensive linemen way too often, where it looked like there was just they were just Velcroed to them, moving around. It looked like two guys dancing, Velcroed to each other, and just couldn't. I didn't like that. So now you're getting, you're going to get cross-back. You're going to feel better about that, whatever. That sticks in my mind. I don't love that. Pilney, $20 holler. Indy has been tested. Could Indiana have gone to College Station tonight to begin their season and pulled that victory off? I don't know. You're saying enough said, like for a fact they couldn't. I don't know. They went to Columbus and crapped themselves. A&M was louder than Columbus. Again, here's the thing, man. Somebody put in the chat that Indiana's kicker just won some award or something. You better not let it come down to a kick. You're darn right. And then it just made me, it's just their punter dropping that snap was the beginning of the end at Ohio State. You can't make those mistakes. You just can't. Thanks for the donation, Pilney. $20 holler again. The NIU loss is why Indy is not the 5 seed. Fair enough. The CFP keeps picking the NIU scab, and Freeman brilliantly uses it for juice. Yeah, listen, man, it is fair to hold it against them. Like, nobody can deny Notre Dame doesn't have the worst loss of any team was in it for the play. Like, it is the worst loss. I can't deny that. Like, it just was. 419, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
What's up, Big J?
What's going on? What do you make of all this, man? Are we getting in our own heads? Are we overthinking this? Are we underthinking this? Like, it's going to be a long next week.
Man, Jay, this your boy E Spider from Toledo, Ohio, and I just want to say go Irish to the Irish Nation, man. And I just want to tell everybody needs to relax. Can you tell me the last time I called you?
It is. I got September 28th. Unless you called from another number, I got September 28th showing up on the last on air from this number.
Okay, great. I'm looking at our schedule, right? We played Louisville that day, and we won. That was our biggest game after Texas A&M after we lost to Northern Illinois, and we've been in panic mode. Like, is that true? We was in panic mode. That was our big game after we lost to Northern Illinois, right?
Yep.
But I'm looking like, man, you know me. Everybody needs to relax, man. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen.
I'm not good with relaxing. I'm not good. You aren't new here. You know I'm not good with relaxing when it comes to Notre Dame. If I'm relaxed, there's something wrong.
I know. You tell me that all the time. You can't relax. But look here. We're about to beat Indiana. Indiana is a good team. Then we're going to blow the doors off Georgia.
Ooh.
Then we're going to beat Penn State, SMU, or Boise State, whoever falls in that semifinal.
Ooh.
And we're going to get to the championship game, and we're going to see what happens.
Oh, man.
Like real talk, I just really have a confidence about this team, bro. Like, they really take Marcus Freeman's personality and their focus.
Yeah.
They're focused. Like, they've been focused ever since the Boise State loss.
Man.
If you could just watch the game, bro. Watch the game. When we watch the games every week, this team is focused and ready to go.
Yeah,
it don't matter who lines up.
I will say this in response to your little roadmap there of Notre Dame journeying, down to the final. When I thought about this 4 games that Notre Dame was going to have to win another championship, and with the changes to the playoff before it all started, but I'm thinking conceptually, okay, Notre Dame's going to have to win 4 of these games in a row. It seemed like a legitimately, really daunting task for a program that hasn't won one major bowl game in 30 years, that they're going to win 4 playoff games in a row seemed like a daunting task. But I got to admit, the road isn't quite as tough as you thought it would be in your head. When you look at some of the teams in this field, it's just and some of the parity, you really do feel, you get a sense that anybody that gets hot can pretty much beat anybody. I believe in that more than I thought I would this year.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I just wanted to tell, ND Nation, man, just relax, man, and we're gonna do what it do.
We're gonna do what it do. What are they gonna do with Ryan Day? The people out in your state got to be losing their minds right about now, right? What's going on out there? Everybody miserable? What's the deal? What's the vibe, man?
I could give a damn about Ohio State. I could care less. I don't care what they do.
It's a good answer.
But they're not stealing Marcus Freeman from us. That's I don't care. And they AD can come out and say, yeah, we're keeping Ryan Day. Whatever. You're lying. Everybody lies. Yeah. I don't give a damn. Y'all lose to Tennessee, he's out of there. So just stop lying. And I know you go try to throw Marcus Freeman some backdoor money to try to get him out of South Bend. So stop the lying. We are hot right now. You know what I mean? So
I like it.
Man, look, go Irish. We going to the championship game, y'all. Just relax, enjoy y'all Christmas, and just relax. We got this. This Indiana game is gonna be tougher than we thought, and then we gonna blow the doors off Georgia without Carson Beck. I don't give a damn about no excuses. You got all them 4 or 5 stars. I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't give a damn. I'm tired of y'all narrative, and I don't give a damn. Just give me my win. I don't give a F about nobody's narratives anymore. That's why I don't even watch ESPN no more.
I like it. I like this, man. I like this.
Let me just watch y'all shows on YouTube. Always Irish, John, all the other fellas. And look, y'all create our narrative. Notre Dame is tough. and we about to get our respect. We about to get our respect and go Irish.
Man, I appreciate you. Thanks for checking in. That's a good caller. I like his confidence. He don't give a F. He don't give a F about nothing. Pilney with the $20 holler. The NIU loss is why Indy's not the 5 seed. Fair enough. CFP committee keeps picking that. Oh, I already read that one. Yeah, dude. It's I don't know. That loss happened. There's no way around it. But Notre Dame could not have possibly responded stronger on the positive end to undo as much of the NIU stain as possible, which we could debate how much of it is or not. But you got to admit, the team has done every single thing it could in the rest of the regular season to try and undo that nightmare. Like, I don't know what else you could ask them to do. They beat the hell out of everybody. Tex Cindy, Omar's dream, a shirtless John rocking a mullet. People are saying the Joe Dirt thing. I was that for a bunch of years. I was there for a bunch of years. I was Joe Dirt for Halloween, man. Ask Rudiger. She's got pictures, I'm sure, of me. I got the mullet wig, like cut off jean shorts, the whole thing, man. I used to love rocking that mullet wig. John, get a perm. Like I have enough hair to get a perm. 260. What's going on? Welcome to the show.
So I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think even winning a national championship this year is going to give us all the respect that we really deserve. Man, here's how I think it's going to happen.
What does then, man? If winning 4 games in a row in 4 games in a row in the postseason to claim your first title since '88 doesn't do it, what the hell would? What do you got to do? Win 4 in a row?
No, let me break it down. I'm saying this particular year.
Okay.
First of all, we're going to get IU. And we beat IU. Everyone's going to.
Yep. Keep going.
Like, okay,
I think I know where you're going. I think I played this out in my mind too. Let's see. Go. This is good. Go. I like it.
Okay. We beat IU, and then they're going to be like, "Well, it's IU.
Yep.
They should have been there. Whatever." Then we beat Georgia without Carson Beck, and then they're going to be like, "Okay, well, you beat their backup quarterback," just like when we beat Clemson during the pandemic, and they said, "Well, oh my God, I can't think of his name right now. Trevor Lawrence was out. They didn't give us respect because the quarterback was out due to having COVID. Same thing. And then we beat Penn State in the next game. And they're going to be like, well, Penn State can't beat any serious team.
Yep, absolutely. So we've already built in. So we found a way to discredit Notre Dame's first 3 playoff wins in a row. I'm with you. I thought this through. You're right. That's 0 for 3. What do you got for the championship? I'm with you. I thought this exact thing out. You're right. There's an excuse and an avenue to discredit if Notre Dame won those 3 in a row, all 3 of them. You're right. I thought of this too.
And then,
yeah.
And then we win. And then we beat Oregon in the national championship. And they say, well, there was no elite teams this year. Everyone's beatable. You couldn't do it in a year when you have truly elite teams. And even though we're holding the trophy in our effing hands, they're like, oh, well, you couldn't do it in a year when it's more competitive.
Yeah, listen, man, at that point, I would not give 2 piles of poop what anybody thinks or says, because nobody would be able to. Everybody would be arguing from a position of weakness because you won the championship. So, there's nothing anybody could say at that point. But I do get the first 3 rounds. I'm with you. I thought of that. They're going to go, we knew Indiana wasn't that good to begin with. Georgia, you're only doing it because they're injured. And then no, Penn State never wins any big game. I already thought of that too. But at that point, man, who cares? Right? If you're really winning to that point, you don't need social validation because you have actual validation. And all those people, it comes off like spilled milk, right? And it's just so obvious they're just Notre Dame haters. I wouldn't, if we did that, you're proving it on the field. I don't need public perception points on Twitter at that point. I don't care about that anymore. We would have an actual trophy and it wouldn't matter what anybody thought. I wouldn't care that.
No, I feel you. And next thing I want to say, though, is we are getting unexpected love from places where I never thought we would. David Pollock I think Greg McElroy is short of just saying that he has us as his favorite. I've heard him several times saying that why can't Notre Dame win a national championship? Like it really, like he hasn't come out directly and said that he thinks Notre Dame's going to win a national championship, but he makes you think that he is picking Notre Dame to win the national championship, if you feel what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's been a couple people that are actually picking Notre Dame to make a run here. And some of it has to do with the bracket and the particular matchups like we've talked about. But like I've been saying for a while now, man, in like living in social media and YouTube and Twitter the way I do every day doing this content, people that wake up with a blind Notre Dame hatred in their heart, it's never going to change. And there's no fact pattern or evidence that's ever going to change that. If you just wake up and you blind hate Notre Dame every day, it ain't going to change, man. You're always going to find a reason.
I mean, that's real. I don't know. I think, as I said, I do think that there's people who's going to be like, well, you know, Notre Dame could never do it any other year. It was just this year that Notre Dame could do it because of, you know, there not being any truly elite teams out there. But on the flip side, I do like hearing with David Pollack. David Pollack has always been one of our biggest critics. And for him to say that Notre Dame could make a run for the national championship, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. And you know what some of this is? I think some of this is a national realization that there's not one clear dominant head and shoulders above team than anybody else. I think that's really a part of it, is because there truly does seem to be more parity this year. And there isn't just like that one dominant team, and everybody has shown to be a little bit vulnerable at different times this year. And everybody's played really strong stretches this year in this field. And I think people are feeling that, seeing that. It really is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, though, I feel like that's a double-edged sword, though. Yeah, it gives us an opportunity to possibly win it this year, but at the same time, it's going to give the people who want to do nothing but hate on Notre Dame fuel to say exactly what I said.
Yeah, man, go for it though. Like the more Notre Dame wins and the more you stick to your anti-Notre Dame arguments, like the less they have credibility, right? Like that's the way I view it. Like the more Notre Dame legitimately does well, the more pathetic those arguments all look. Like, I don't know, man. If we just keep advancing, I don't need the credibilities in that.
Yeah, I agree. You know, and a couple shows back, I said that, you know, if we do end up winning one this year, what stops us from winning 2 out of the next 3? And then what do people say?
Yeah.
If we win, you know what I mean? Like if we win, maybe we win this year, we don't win next year, but then the year after that, we win another national championship. What can people say at that point? I mean, what's the I hate Notre Dame argument?
Well, dude, yeah. If you win if you win 8 playoff games in a row, I think people are going to have to give you some respect. It's just the way it's going to have to go. Like, I don't know, man. People just hate Notre Dame to hate Notre Dame, and no facts are going to change it. It is what it is, and it's a compliment in a way. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for calling.
Okay, well, I just want to clarify my point there.
Sure.
What if it's not 8 games? What if it's not 8 playoff games in a row? Again, like, what if we win it this year, lose next year somewhere in the playoff, and then win it again the following year?
You mean win it all? Man, if you're not getting, if you're winning a championship in seasons where you have to win 4 playoff games to do it, you should get more credibility than you ever would have got for winning 2 in the old format or 1 in the BCS format. That's all I have to say. That is a much longer run. If you ain't getting credit, then I don't know what you're going to do.
I get it, but there's a lot of Notre Dame hate out there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, there is. But if you got trophies like that, I'm happy to take the hate, you know. Hey, man, thanks for giving me a call. Screw these haters. They're all over, and I don't like them.
All right. Thanks, John, for everything.
Have a good one, man. Thank you for everything. I don't know about everything. You don't need to thank me for everything. Look at SPF. Man, I saw some rough LSU stuff yesterday, you guys. I saw some tweets saying, I feel like I was misled by Brian Kelly, who was saying that some of these guys were coming back and now they're hitting the portal or going to the NFL. And why did Kelly mislead us? I can't believe he would do that. It's almost like you never met the guy before or never seen him operate or hear him talk. It just warms my little soul, man, when I start getting those tweets sent to me of literally LSU people being like, I don't understand. Brian Kelly said these guys were coming back, and I was banking on that. I feel misled. Unbelievable. If ND wins the champion, by the way, I think I believe LSU is going to be rebuilding their offensive line. And I think, unless I'm wrong, the only guy they have coming back is the center. They didn't like that much anyways, and everybody else is gone. That's going to be a little bit of a project. And I don't know how many great offensive linemen are in the portal. Maybe I'm wrong. It's going to be a rough road. If ND wins the chip, nobody's going to say that. You guys always say the dumbest crap for clicks. All I did is answer the guy's phone call. This wasn't a bullet point on my show to talk about. All I did is answer the guy's call. I didn't know what he was going to say. How am I supposed to know what he's going to say? You're acting like I bullet pointed this to make the whole point of the show. The guy called with the point. 914, what's going on? 205 after that. What's going on, 904 or 914?
Mike check. Can you hear me? Mike check.
I got you.
All right. I was reading my morning paper, scrolling through Twitter, and I think it was Peak or something, where out of all the first round games, they even showed the second round games, but I don't really count that because it's a little far away. But we're the most expensive when it comes to ticket prices, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're the popular girl school that everyone hates over the years. And I do have a point that, and I consider 93 as that we were national championships, but whatever. So that would be what, like 33 years or 30 something years that we haven't won a championship. So they have a point there. But you run a business, if people are spending the most money out of all your competitors on you, everyone's going to hate you. Not everyone, but, you will have haters. And I just think that, the pocketbook speaks, and we're not playing in, someplace that's tropical. It's going to be, what, 10, minus 10, 5 degrees? Everyone's spending $2,000 or more. I think the lowest ticket probably is 1,000 or so, but when you're there, you're going to be buying things. You have to buy parking pass. You have to get there. So to get a decent seat, everything that it includes, you're spending $2,000, $1,500, $1,800, one person.
Yeah.
No other fan. The NCAA isn't. No other stadium, no other institution is charging that much because people aren't going to pay it.
Yeah, and
so
again,
besides the win.
So what do you make of that then? What do you gather from that then? That it's just that that's all a part of the Notre Dame, even though we haven't won since the 80s, that it's a part of the Notre Dame mystique that still lives on, and people know this is a big piece of history and they want to be a part of it. But that fuels more haters because it's like, okay, you haven't won in 40 years and you're overreacting. What is your takeaway from this whole dynamic?
I think it shows the temperature of where the Notre Dame, like you said, I think you used the word mystique or tradition or something like that. It's still alive and well. You can't deny that. I mean, it's not easy out there. Everyone complains about everything as far as financial. I know there are different people have different circumstances and what have you, but what is it, a 4 or 5 hour thing? $2,000 in the cold? It's not, it's not Costa Rica. So it's just the proof is in the pudding that, yes, we have haters. Yes, we lost to NIU. Yes, we haven't won anything since we had, our best season last season was 93 with the great Lou Holtz, great guy, great coach. But they still show up. So what? It's just, you can't deny it. Game day is going to be there. You think those guys in suits want to be in 10-degree weather? I know they'll be there most likely during the day and when it's a little bit warmer and they'll have heaters and stuff. But regardless of the cold, regardless of the price, people are showing up. People are saving, or around Christmas time, you don't think people want to save money to spend on presents and their family? They're going to the Notre Dame game to see the first playoff game.
Yeah.
In this new,
Okay, now wait. Now let me flip this on you, though. How much of this is because the Indiana people are driving up the price and everything because they want a piece of this, and the Notre Dame fans, got extra. Now they're trying to make a profit. That's what I don't know in this puzzle is how much of this is from the other side since they're from right down the road.
No, I agree that that's also a dynamic, but John, it's not like our average price is $1,800 and the next game. I think we play on Friday and everyone else plays on Saturday. I might be wrong, but
yeah, you're right.
It's not like we're at $1,800. It's not like we're at $1,800 and the next one down's at $1,700. It's like a $500 plus. Of average ticket price.
Yeah,
it's too much of a delta. It's too much of a difference to say there's nothing there. I'm not saying it's everything. I'm not saying everyone loves us and we're the best. I mean, I think we're the best, but just objectively, I'm not saying that we are, but there's something there. The Notre Dame magic is still there. Like Lou Holt says, we're Notre Dame and you ain't. And it's just there. And I just wanted to call briefly here on a Friday and bring that fact into the discussion leading up to this, because we kick off the new bowl series. Game day will be there. $2,000 for a seat. It's freezing cold. Yes, Indiana's, I think it's just over 2 hours, just under 2 hour around that. But people can watch it in their home. And it's just, I get that Indiana wants to go and drive. And like you say, you don't have to get a hotel and all that stuff. You can drive back. But at the end of the day, it's going to be freezing and people have families. It's the holiday time. Not everyone's wives love college football, so the husband, or, I don't want to be sexist here, but the husband has to convince to go. So it's just a lot that there's a lot of excuses to not go and to not have the price as high as it is, but it just is. You can't deny reality.
Yeah, it's just,
that's all I wanted to say.
Hey man, Notre Dame Stadium there's a lot of history, and this is new history, whether they win or lose. Just the whole environment is history, and people want to be a part of it. And Notre Dame's special in that way. And it's a part of the reason everybody hates us so much is not every building is magical like that. This is an extra big deal because it's Notre Dame Stadium. There's just a lot of ghosts and a lot of history here, and it makes a difference.
Yep. And the last thing I'm going to say, I think it was earlier on this week, people were bringing to you, or maybe it was the end of last week, that if we beat Indiana, it's not our first major bowl win.
Mm-hmm.
And that to beat Georgia, regardless of if they have their starting QB or their second string QB, they're still a top program and recruit top kids. And the backup QB is, still a top 30 QB in the, in the world at his age of 19, 20, 21, whatever he is. But anyway, in my opinion, just my opinion, beating Indiana Friday night, ESPN will love it. Everyone will love it. We get a lot of notoriety, but it doesn't have sugar. It doesn't have rose. It doesn't have peach. It doesn't have orange. It doesn't have fiesta attached to it. That's the next one.
Yeah. I get it. This is just, it's an interesting.
But it would be a huge win. It would be great.
That's where I struggle. That's where I struggle because it's kind of sitting in the middle there. So I understand what people are saying. It's just, it's a weird spot because it's sitting in the middle. It's a absolute must have, gotta have it, biggest game of all time, but not full credit. It's just weird. I get it though.
Last thing I'll say, and then I'll let you move on. But if we win the first round, beat Indiana, go to Georgia, play them tight and lose, Marcus, it's still amazing for the program. It's still a great, large win. But it's not a major. Is it a bowl win? Yeah.
Yeah, but but you can't say that because bowl win is an implication to me that it doesn't matter and it's a regular bowl. Like, we have to find a better definition because bowl win to me comes off like, a lower level bowl win. This is not that. There has to be a different categorization.
I think there does have to be, because this is the first time it's happening. So you can't really compare it to 2008, 2012. It's not the same format. So it kind of sits there in purgatory, in limbo there.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that.
It's not heaven and it's not on earth.
Yeah, I kind of actually, yeah, I get that. It's a weird, and that's what I mean when I say this is all new territory. We're all navigating together, right? Like, and how we're gonna frame these things and how it's all gonna look and feel and everything. I'm with you, man. And that's a part of what I like are all these new age debates we never had before. So, hey, thanks for giving me a call, man. It's and you're making me think about how many layers I'm gonna have to wear to stay warm. Thank you.
And money talks. I used to be in sales, not anymore. And when you look at business and all that type of stuff, you can't deny an average price of $1,500-1,700 to sit in minus 10-degree weather.
Man, yeah, it's
not many people are going to do that.
Yeah, it's an interesting. You really got to be there for the right reasons on this one. Thanks a lot, buddy. Really appreciate you. Have a good one. 205, you're coming up, and I do believe. I think those ticket prices have come down, like from what those numbers he's saying, they've come down a lot. So I don't know what you guys make of them going up, spiking that high, dropping to less than 50% of that. And then what's going to happen throughout the next week? Where are they going to go? And who is driving them? Is it all up to how many Indiana people at what their level they're willing to pay? And there's going to be a number they're not willing to pay. And then when it gets down below a certain amount, they jump back in or what? Or is everybody that wants to go going to go that doesn't mind freezing? Like, I don't know how you look at this. $10 holler from the Domer. WAP. Did anybody notice James Franklin swipe at ND in his statement on the selection show? Everybody should be in a conference. That comment was clearly directed at ND. What a clown. Dude, I don't care anything that guy tells me. I just can't. He never wins a big game. He's the only guy in America with the worst big game record than Brian Kelly. It's absolutely unbelievable, but he acts like he's a big shot. It drives me nuts. And the other thing is, here's the other thing too. The other thing is, I always give Franklin and Penn State a hard time for never winning a big game. Well, trouble's knocking on Johnny's door. If you end up winning enough, you match up with Penn State. My head's going to explode off my carcass if we are the ones that allow Franklin a big game win when he can't beat anybody else that's good. I will absolutely lose it, and my head will just pop off my carcass. I'm not going to be able to handle that because he never wins any big game ever against anyone. It's the only guy with the worst record in those moments with the big body of work. Then Kelly, I'll absolutely lose it. You can't be the one that gives him it. And when you talk about Keegan-Michael Key, you got to be my age. You got to be my age to remember Coach Hines. If anyone here remembers the Coach Hines skits from literally like 30 years ago, you know what I'm talking about, and you'll understand why I think it's so funny. The whole Coach Hines bit. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, type it in YouTube and you'll understand why I like the Coach Hines stuff. Ronald McDonald. I hate to say it, but this snooty fan base is the worst in the country. I just can't deal with the fans. They all wear the same thing. Shorts with a belt, tucked in ND shirt, and leather sandals. Don't get me started on guys wearing sandals again. I can't handle it. If you beach, a pool, or on a boat, you have no reason to make anybody in public see your nasty dude hooves. I will plant my flag on that, and I will die on this hill. Guys, and the other thing is, it would be different if guys took care of their stuff. But every time you're out in public and you see some dude with leather sandals, they got Paul Bunions hanging off the side. You got knuckles with hair hanging out of them, nails that are all gross. No one wants to see dude hooves. No one wants to see dude hooves. If you ain't at the beach or a pool or on a boat, there is no reason for a guy to show their bare feet. I will die on that hill, man. No one wants to see it, and it's partially guys' fault. They don't take care of their stuff. It just looks horrible. So, anyways, I will plant my flag on that. 205, let's make it come alive. What's going on?
How you doing, John?
I'm doing very well. I got a feeling this is going to be an interesting next week. This is going to be stress.
Oh, 100%. First, before I get into anything, I want to give you some props because I remember when you first started talking about doing this radio thing, or sorry, the call-in thing, and this was like what, almost 2 years ago.
Yep.
And I didn't think it was going to take off. And I remember I tried to call in Monday, and I couldn't get through, and I just had to hang up and listen to the rest of the show. So I wanted to give you some props before we go into all the ND talk and all that. But you're doing a great job, and I appreciate you giving the Notre Dame fans a voice to just say their opinions out loud.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that, man. Like, I never knew what this was going to turn into. I didn't know if I was just going to get trolled all the time by like people in the, you don't know what you're going to get. And like, you give up control of your show a little bit when you open up the phone lines, you don't know where it's going to go. And you have to kind of like do that. Like, but I just thought it was the one thing this fan base didn't have that they deserved. I wanted everybody to be able to call in and vent, either happy or sad or whatever. And I'm glad people have liked it.
100%. So I want to get into specifically Riley Leonard and his ability, and I'm going to take away his legs, whatever, and all that. I'm just homing straight up on his passing. And this is just all opinion based, no stat related or anything. I think, okay, let's go back to the first 4 games of the year. He was awful. We can all agree on that. He was terrible at passing. But as a playmaker, great, but passing, it was not good at all. He left some passes on the field for A&M. We don't got to talk about NIU. I'm tired of talking about that. And Miami of Ohio, he finally did something with the ball and threw a touchdown pass, and he didn't do anything at Purdue. But that Louisville game was such an eye-opener, and I feel like this Indiana game is pretty similar as far as talent-wise. For the Louisville game, Louisville could have beat us. They could have. But I think we also pulled back a little bit. The moment there was a turnover at one point in the game, and I forget exactly, but we were blowing the doors off. It was like 21-7, and the moment that we fumbled, I think it was Jadarian Price, the play calling got so condensed, and we were scared to let Riley Leonard throw. I think he's a much better passer, and I think we have much better receivers than everyone thinks, and even that Notre Dame fans think. I just think our play callers, and maybe even Freeman at times, is hesitant to let them just go out there and just play. Because we saw against A&M, they can go.
You know what?
Against the teams later in the year, they can go.
There are some debates going on about, is there some internal battle between Marcus Freeman's trestle-ish DNA to want to be conservative on offense and knowing that Denbrock doesn't live that way and Denbrock would like to let it rip and take some more chances. Like I've seen that debate be going on. Like, is there a little battle there where Denbrock wants to do more, but the head guy's more conservative because of where he came from? So I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah. And
what about his legs? What about his legs, man? That's the other thing. I believe Riley Leonard's legs are a big key to postseason success here.
100%. But I think there's going to be a time where, okay, let's take Georgia into example. Okay, well, we beat Indiana, we go play Georgia. Georgia's played a Riley Leonard type, and maybe even a little bit of a faster Riley Leonard and Jalen Milroe. I mean, Jalen Milroe made him look stupid in the first half of that game, and then what happened the second half? I mean, they only scored 7 points that second half. And Georgia came back all the way back to take the lead. I believe it was only 7 points in that second half. But Jalen Milroe and his legs were gone. And, I mean, I think there's going to be, especially in that Georgia game, because they got a questionable secondary, that he's going to have to let that arm just go. Let it fly.
Yeah, don't you listen? I agree with you. Why do I hear myself? Why am I echoing? It's freaking me out.
My bad.
There we go.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Don't you agree? Notre Dame's going to want to run the ball. Notre Dame's going to play their good defense. but eventually they're going to have to throw the ball somewhat to win one of these playoff games.
Oh yeah, and it's either going to be it's either going to be the Faison, Greathouse, Evans, Collins. He kind of disappeared a little bit towards the end of the year.
Yeah,
but he still got that, I think, huge playmaker ability. So I think no matter what, one of these, if we're going to make the run that everyone's kind of predicting and hoping, at one of those games, it could be Indiana. We don't know, but he's going to have to let his arm go, and the coaching staff is going to have to trust him and trust his receivers, which I think internally they do. I just don't know if externally all the fans and the media really does.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really, really interesting. I just think that's going to be interesting when you. I don't think a lot of people have the faith in the wide receiver room you do.
I get it. I 100% do, but it also just a little bit frustrates me because one of our key receivers, we can go for the past 2 years, is not on the field as much as he used to be because of how much talent we got. Thomas, JT Thomas, or I forget his name, 83. I mean, he is a phenomenal receiver, and he's not as much as involved in the passing game as he used to be, especially 2 years ago when we had that little midget Drew Pine as quarterback. I mean, he was making a lot of plays. He was. And he's not on the field as much anymore, and because the younger guys and the transfers are on the field. And I think they see what they see in practice, and that gives them all right, we need these guys to play in the blocking and in the pass catching, but there's no need to really be airing the ball out because we got the 3 great runners back there was Leonard and Love and Price.
Yeah, it's man, there's a lot on the line here, man. And let's see how it's going to go. Hey, thanks for the call on a Friday.
Thank you.
I'm not trying to be rude, but it was hard when I was hearing myself, man. It was hard when I was hearing myself. There's just a total echo. All right, here's the deal on this. Did you talk about the Belichick taking the UNC job? I got a Patreon coming up about that. Here's what I don't understand. Number one is, of all the things Belichick could do with his time and his money in the remaining years of his life he has, when he has a little brunette girlfriend that clearly has daddy issues, that's 24 years old, palling around with him. No, at no time in that scenario am I going, you know what I want to deal with now? Recruiting to North Carolina and negotiating an NIL deal with some player. Now, I don't think like Bill Belichick. That's why he's probably the best guy that's ever had that job or whatever, and he's addicted to coaching and wants a new challenge, whatever you tell me. But bro, there's no scenario where I'm that guy with the credibility and the money I have, and I have that girlfriend, and I'm wasting time in North Carolina recruiting. I just can't. It's just not going to happen, man. It ain't going to happen. So then the other part is Tommy Rees was up for that job if he didn't take it. It was going to be Tommy Rees. And I'm telling you this right now. Yeah, the dude's a maniac. Some of those guys are, guys who are older people that are I'm never going to retire till I physically can't get up anymore because they just, if they worry, if they slow down, it's going to be it or whatever, for straight in the grave or whatever. So they just keep working. These guys, I think, are so competitive. I think this isn't so much of addicted to work. I think it's addicted to the compete. And for him, he probably sees a new challenge with college. And maybe I don't see him getting on the road and grinding on the recruiting trail for trying to impress 17-year-olds. I see him throwing them rings or giving them a picture of the rings and going, here you go, man. You either want to be here or you don't. I don't need to impress you. You need to impress me. Right? You don't need to. You need to impress me. Here's these rings. You know what I do. I know all the people you want to know in the NFL, you want to come here or not. But the bigger picture on this is, Tom, yeah, remember when Charlie Weiss said that? I do, but I also think Charlie Weiss isn't Bill Belichick. Pat, I'm still waiting for the decided schematic advantage to kick in. What year does that kick in? I'm waiting. Anyways, here's the deal, man. Tommy Rees, he was going to get that job. Apparently, if Belichick didn't get it or whatever, he was the next guy in line. And I think it's really interesting. I got a feeling, I think it's in Tommy Rees's heart. Like, one of his goals is to eventually be the head coach in Notre Dame. I believe that's in Rees's heart. I genuinely do. I think somewhere down the road, that is a guy that it would make him the full career thing, recruit, player, coach, and then come back head coach. I genuinely believe it's in that guy's heart to be Notre Dame's head coach. But you've seen with Marcus the challenges of doing it on the fly first time in Notre Dame. It'd be nice if Tommy could go somewhere else at a middle level where there isn't quite that spotlight and pressure, but you still have a chance to be decent. I think North Carolina fits that mold. That would have been nice to see, because I think he genuinely wants to be at Notre Dame at some point as a head guy. I'm just telling you, he's, for all of Tommy's flaws or whatever, inability to run on the field, inability to run away from the cops, what Tommy turnover, whatever you want to say, for all of that, the guy loves Notre Dame, man. Like, that's the thing. For all the flaws with Tommy on or off the field or whatever it is, and whatever complaints you had about his offense, whatever, that guy loves Notre Dame. That guy loves Notre Dame. And so it's really, really, really interesting. We can't lose to Indiana. We'd never live it down. I'm telling you, it is a really unique situation. Like, full humiliation. Here's how I'm putting it. Full humiliation is on the menu. It's just a matter if Notre Dame orders it or not. Like, true and full humiliation is on the menu with this Indiana matchup. In a way, it isn't with any of the other teams we could have matched up with. Humiliation's on the menu. It's just a matter, is Notre Dame going to order it, or are they smart enough to sidestep it? That's all I'm telling you, because it is a unique, for the 80th time in 2 weeks, you cannot allow two teams to celebrate the biggest victories their football programs have ever had on your field in the same year and then feel like the year was a success. You cannot sell that to anyone. I don't care how many wins in a row you had and how many they were by. You can't sell it. You can't sell it. WPP, $10 holler. It is one thing to take a different job. It's another to take another job in the middle of February, leaving ND scrambling to replace him. Reese turned his back on ND, and that should never be forgotten. WPP, here you go again. I got a feeling that's going to be very controversial, and many people would respond to you saying, it's just business, and this is the way it goes now. And you don't have to like it, but this is business. And this is how it goes. And that would definitely, I can't imagine what that applies. I know what the pushback to this is going to be. This is the business, man. And I don't even know if the schools themselves take it personally. I think everybody just figures this is the business now. And this is how it goes. And it feels a little dirty and it feels a little icky. And sometimes it doesn't feel good, but it's just kind of how it goes. I'm not saying it's got to warm your heart. I just feel like it's like just the business now. It's a part of it goes. It's a part of how this goes. So I don't know. I get that people don't love the way it feels, but it's just like a dirty business. It's just kind of the way it goes, man. You got to lie to get by. That's the other thing. That's the other thing that makes it feels icky. You got to lie to get by. How many times do coaches that are up for other coaching jobs get up on the podium and go, oh, I'm happy here. I'm not going anywhere. What do you mean the Bears job? Nobody's called me about that. Look at this, Andrew Gilmore. Oh, Andrew, why are you trying to give me an aneurysm heading into the weekend? Indiana. Oh, I'm struggling with this. Indiana would 100% plant a flag too. Number one question is, how far can you stab a flag in this fake AstroTurf stuff? That's number one. How far can you actually stick that in now in that fake turn? I'm not being sarcastic. I'm genuinely asking the practicalities of how far you got to spike that thing in. Do you go through the layer, the little tire shreds, or what do you got to do? I want to know. Here's the other thing. Yeah, cold field. Here's the other thing too. This is an all-timer. Remember when I said earlier, we rush in the field if we win? You're damn right. If you can rush the field for regular season wins, how can you not rush the field for a playoff win? Again, I can't make that make sense. Like, people rush the field way too often for beating teams I don't think should get field rushing things. If you can't rush your own field, if you win a playoff game, give me a break. Omar's saying rush the field, win or lose. I actually like that. If you lose, we're rushing it, we're rioting. And if we win, we're rushing it, we're celebrating. I like that. That flag planting thing, though. Think about it. You're Indiana's program. You pull this off at Notre Dame. This is your one chance. You haven't played them since 91. You spike that flag. You have your guys there. You take that picture. That is your recruiting promo forever. You make a big panorama picture of that flag spike with that ND there, and you live off it forever. You live off it forever. I'm telling you, I'm not here for this, you guys. It is, when I say misery is on the menu for Notre Dame, I literally mean misery is on the menu for Notre Dame in a unique way. Even if you lost to SMU or something, it would not be the same as this Indiana thing. You can't allow it. You can't allow it. So there's a lot on the line here, and this could get ugly, man. I don't know. WPP, $10 holler. If Freeman encouraged Reese to leave for Alabama, Freeman is either very clever, he knows Reese is overrated and wanted him gone, or a weakling of a head coach. Here's the way I understand this, you guys. The way I understood it behind the scenes was, I was led to believe Tommy was a little frustrated with the way that Freeman got that job. And that maybe Tommy thought he put in his time and he should have gotten more serious consideration. If anybody was going to be getting that job as a first-time guy, in-house ND guy, I was led to believe that Tommy was thinking he should maybe get that consideration, but it went more to Marcus for whatever reasons, and that kind of turned him off a little bit. But then he was talked to staying and then stayed and was whatever. And then, so it's just an interesting dynamic there. And I think you could make an argument that maybe it would be best for Freeman and Tommy to each kind of go their separate ways and develop as coaches. The Kelly break, make the Kelly break clean, and then Tommy could go grow, and then he could go grow, like whatever. I also do understand the theory that at the time it made sense and there was comfort around Notre Dame and Swarbrick and all that, that if they were going to go the Freeman route, that there was comfort in having Reese in the building as a continuing like thread as the long-term Notre Dame guy. I saw that there was comfort there, whatever. Now that we're removed from it all, I do wonder if these guys would have been both better off with the clean Kelly break from the beginning. Year one, Freeman does his own thing and Reese does his own thing somewhere else. I think in retrospect, I think that might have been healthier for both of their developments than this complication of the through line of Kelly and the Reese kind of maybe thinking he deserved that job, but Freeman got this whole, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. Look at this. Hoosiers winning by 10. That is going to be a cold night in South Bend, baby. If that happens. Joseph says, the flag planting thing needs to be completely banned. Somebody's going to get seriously injured. Yeah, pretty soon it's going to turn into sword fights with those things. Or you're going to have a real fight out there where some reporter's going to get punched and something bad's going to happen or something. But I do think you draw the line at the Ohio politician that's trying to put a law or a bill or whatever together to say that they're banning the flag planting and all that stuff. Like, we have enough real issues in America. I don't think that needs to be a priority on the books. Can't you just have your security people make sure it doesn't happen? Like, I don't think we need to spend time in Congress over this. But geez. Will the fan base be calling for Freeman to be let go if they lose? I mean, people call for Freeman to be let go when he wins. Like, we've won games and people have said, I want Freeman gone. So give me a break. Like, I don't know. Oh, boy. Anyways, all right, you guys, I got a couple things I got to do. I got to hit the road a little early today. And listen, things are getting complicated. You got the holidays, we got the game next week, whatever. I got to get going. Yeah, that's why the fencing team's so smart. They're training for that. So I got to get going. Hey, I want to thank everybody for the donations. Thanks for the chats. We have, Johnny Perm. I can't grow that out. We got a good group here. It's growing. I appreciate all the calls, the donations, everything, you guys. Sorry for cutting it a little early. Just have too much stuff I got to do, childcare situation on my hands. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you being here. This is great. Let's get ready for the next week. It's going to be wild. Thanks.